Assalamu alaikum.
Kama si amani hatungekuwa hapa. Na kila mtu mdogo mkubwa tunahitaji.
Security inaanza na wewe.
Usalama unaanza na wewe na mimi.
Eastleigh is a neighborhood in Nairobi where the majority of its population is of the ethnic Somali origin. They are frequently the main target of recruitment or are attracted to the options offered to them by extremist and local gangs. These gangs serve as alternatives to the high levels of ethnic profiling in the area by the security forces and the government at large. In October 2015, Tawakal Medical Clinic commenced the Community Together Initiative, CTI, funded by the US State Department. The goal of the program was to foster identity and self-confidence in at-risk youth population by bridging the gap that had existed between the community members and the law enforcement. This program, developed and managed by Scofield Associates, aimed at creating and enabling them to work together for the good of the community while also empowering the youth with the knowledge and ability to reject extremism. The program also aimed to address the factors affecting the relationship at the community level that create mistrust and a soaring bond with the security forces.
This is Tawakal Medical Clinic, and I was started in 1996 November. Here I'm working for a longer time. And Tawakal Medical Clinic first is normal primary health care, but 2011 we start to focus some different jobs, not only for treating, because we know that our society are highly traumatized. Then me and Daktari, we studied in psychotrauma. After that, we try to we understand our problems, society of our problem, and then we started treating with what we have, because all the patients complaining psychosomatic pain or chronic pain. Now we understand what they have. Then we created support groups, like women support group, that we talk to them about and what's the mental illness, what's the nutrition, how to grow the children. Also, we talk about adolescents and teens. Also, we do some counseling. We do always counseling. There are a lot of young ladies who graduate in university. They work with us. And also we have youth support group, they are same. We did all same programs. And also we have some another culture group called it a cultural group. They are doing dancing, they know the culture. We taught them the culture of Somali culture, and they do dancing like danto, call it danto.
From the data provided by the baseline study conducted in Kamukunji constituency, the CTI project identified the lack of trust with the government, specifically the law enforcement, ethnic profiling of the residents by the security forces, and limited communication channels on conflict issues as some of the key factors that had pushed the youth and the community into radicalization and recruitment into terrorism.
Now, Community Together Initiative is a project which Tawakal is implementing, and it is funded by the State Department. This project is about creating bridges between the community, in particular the youth of Kamukunji, not all Kamukunji, in fact, Eastleigh, and the police. And we have seen this this need when we saw the enmity, or we can say the suspicion, between the youth and the police. There was a needs assessment or baseline data we have done a year ago, and we saw that there's a huge gap between the youth and the police, the law enforcers. One of the questions we asked to the youth was, is there any police you consider a friend, or is there any police you have as friend? The question, most of them, was no. In particular, the youth of Airbase, which is the area where the clinic is, and Eastleigh North. That was the worst in terms of relationship with the law enforcers. Even the other places were not better, but Airbase and Eastleigh North were the worst. The other questions was, is there any police whom you know by name? Most of them, they said no. And we discovered that they know the police by nicknames, which are not always good. And then we have seen the need to make this. And the other thing is also because Eastleigh is one of the areas which is prone to radicalization. And as you know, radicalization always thrives when there is conflict, when there is misunderstanding. One of the examples I always make to the youth when I'm talking to them is I talk about bed bugs. Bed bugs are some small insects which suck the blood and live in the cracks of the walls. And at night they come out and they make your night impossible. These radicals and people who radicalize the youth, they like cracks in the society. They like gaps, and in the gaps of the society, it is where they thrive. The difference is, bedbugs are just insects. I tell them always like that. But these people who radicalize the youth are human beings with brain. And what they do, if they get a crack, they go in, they fill it, and they enlarge it so they can thrive. If there is no crack, they create enmity, they create confusion, they create misunderstanding. So in order to have the chance, to have the environment they need to radicalize the youth. So this is one of the, this project is it is part of the Kenyan effort to counter radicalization. That was the essence and the aim and how it started. The project started now around January. In fact, it started on September. Now it's 1 year almost going on. We have finished the first phase, and then now we are in the second phase of this project. And now the people, the police and the youth we have trained in the first phase, now they became trainers, and they are training other youth and other police. And I can tell you that the output from the beginning was tremendous, and as some people also of the community were saying, was something incredible. There was a ceremony we have done for the when we were giving the license to the first group who completed the training. When we invited elders, we invited mothers, we invited most of the community. When they saw police in uniform serving them tea and biscuits, and it was something amazing, and they couldn't believe. People really, they enjoyed it, and it was a very an enjoyable surprise, I can tell you. And it became the talk of the city, of the village, I can tell you. And people are talking about police, especially a female police, serving them, and even male, serving them tea and asking them if you need more or are you satisfied. And because this was not something they expected, and they have been brainwashed, and they always hearing that the police are brutal, the police are this, and so many bad things they have been always hearing about the police. And it was really a very pleasant surprise for the community, and especially for the mothers and the elders, and they feel that now their children are secure, and that was the first output. And about the impact, what we expect is harmony in Eastleigh.
To increase the level of trust between the community members and the police, Tawakal Medical Clinic through CTI began building capacities of the two sides through training, sustainable positive dialogue, and alternative dispute resolution as a starting point to bridge the gap.
Community Together initiative identified 20 members of the community and 20 members from the Kenya Police Service, who are then trained over a period of 9 weeks at the Nomads Hotel in Eastleigh on issues of trauma counseling, ADR, mediation, and after the graduation, the team of TOTs was then mandated to train members of the community and members of the police force together over a period of 5 weeks per group. So we completed that successfully, and we already have members of the community who are trained on trauma counseling, who are trained on bridging the gap between the community and the police, and they are out there within the communities and within the police station doing this work and doing the advocacy that Community Together initiative was intended to do.
I am one of the participants of CTI program, and it was really a very successful project, something we were hoping to get it for the past recently, and it's very encouraging to have such kind of projects in our society, a project that brings the police and the community together so that they feel like they are part of and one of the society. It was beautiful. It is really beautiful to have such kind of projects, and to end it like the way we ended it is something we can really be proud of, and something we can say that it really was a big picture to show for our society.
All right, my name is Senior Sergeant Francis Mwangi, Senior Sergeant of Administration Police. I'm based here in Kamukunji sub-county, and have been working with Tawakal Medical Clinic with the purpose of trying to bridge the gap between the members of the public and the police. We have been working together for the last, since the beginning of this year, when we were trained on this particular area of trying to bridge the gap between the community and the members of the police service. And all along it has been smooth. Since the beginning, I have been expecting to see on how I can actually bridge that gap and cultivate the trust between the members of the public and police and the police service. And I can say for sure that I have continued day by day to meet the expectations. I'm achieving them one by one because I have been making friends from the members of the community, more so the youth. I've been meeting them, unlike there before when we used to meet on what we call on what I may call in the wrong sides. I mean the bad corners. When we meet and one would run away from the other one. Say during the time of chaos and the time of when they think of a policeman as being a very bad person. So whenever they see me in uniform, they try to run away. But nowadays they come together, you can shake hands, and you can sit down and discuss many issues. Not to mention things like the football, etc.
The community, including the members of the police service, can attest to the changes the program has impacted.
And the expectations we had, I believe we made it. I believe the whole expectations that was to bring the police and the community together was one that was very successful. Which was something we needed it at the beginning of the project, and something we believe will have a real impact on our society. When you look at the society in Kenya, the way, especially in Kamukunji, the way we picture the police as a society in the community is way different than the other communities in the other world when you consider it. So to bring it in a positive way, and the way it was going, which was actually in Kenya, the way we picture the police as a negative, to change it into a real positive perspective was a very nice touch. And I think that's one of the main expectations that we really had from this project, and one which we reached very successfully, and one which we believe will bring more impact in the next coming years. As a community, we needed it to have a real chat with the police, to really have a real engagement between us, to understand each other better, in other words. And to put it in a better words, I would say this was very successful. This was really showing a real impact, and one I can say very proudly that I personally benefited it from. It's beautiful and something we should look forward to, and the impact when you look at it from this side, the conversations we had, the chatting we had with the police as a community, and the fact that what they believe about us, what we believe about them, to come closer, to come together and discuss it in one time was a really beautiful thing and something we look forward to.
To this end, CTI started a process of healing as a way of understanding the driving factors leading the youths into gangs. Through discussions and minor engagements that involve conflict resolution activities, CTI was able to bring the two rival groups to the table and had discussions on the way to deal with the challenges they faced.
I work with the Administration Police Service. I'm in this program that is Community Training Initiative, and I've realized some changes after initiating the program together. That is the conflict that was there between the Milawa boys and the boys from 3rd Street. It's already over. They are now peaceful and working hand in hand together.
If I could give you an overview of what happened, these boys are two groups, Milawa and the 3rd Street boys, had been involved in over a long period in fights, altercations that led to injury and chaos in the community. What we did under the CTI program is that we brought them together, one at a time, one group at a time, did mediation, gave them support, and encouraged them to embrace peace. And then finally we brought the two groups together, and we put them together and finished that conflict completely.
I'm a resident in Eastleigh, born and bred in Eastleigh, and I'm also a youth leader of a youth group known as Den of Hope Youth Group. In addition to that, I'm the Secretary General of the Kamukunji Sub-County Peace Committee. So my involvement with the Community Together initiative through Tawakal Medical Clinic has been instrumental in changing my perceptions in regards to the police. This was one of the program of its kind which enabled us to integrate and to interact with the police through the trainings which we had on basic counseling, psychotrauma healing and counseling, self-awareness, and also communication. So we've walked a long journey with the police. We've trained together the police, and this was one of a program of a kind which enabled me as a community leader to facilitate workshops in the community with the police officers. And I must admit that this was a golden opportunity. Through working with the police officers and reaching out to the youth, it basically changed the attitude of the youth as far as the police is concerned. Through the Community Together initiative, we also managed to conduct a community outreach program in terms of a peace procession, of which we disseminated positive messages on the importance of the police to work together with the community. So I must say that it was a program of its kind, and we've really benefited as a community. And also through the program, we managed to initiate an alternative dispute resolution for our youth. And the program has taught us that a non-violent approach to conflict is very much important, as opposed to using violent approaches to conflict. So basically, we are very grateful to the US State Department for funding this program, and we believe that the fruits of this program is going to go a long way in enhancing the relations between the police and the community, and much more importantly, to bring about peace and security in our neighborhood.
CTI has created support groups within the community and the police. This relationship is a starting point for more engagements with the community, and Tawakal is proud to have been part of this journey.